This is Good Morning San Diego.
A court session will remain today, continue today for day 5 of rapper Sean Diddy Combs' sex trafficking trial in New York. And joining us now with what's transpired so far and what is expected today is criminal defense attorney Vic Bajaj. Vic, good morning. Good to see you. I wish it were under different circumstances because this has not been a pleasant or easy to watch trial so far.
Yes, good morning, truly. Can't disagree with you.
Yeah, the details are quite disturbing. But of course, Cassie Ventura, who is the former longtime girlfriend of the rapper Diddy Combs, has been considered the star witness and the most important witness in this case, has taken the stand. She, for people who don't know, because we can't see visuals in the courtroom, is visibly very pregnant at this point. And so I know one of the tactics I'll talk to you about, because this is your expertise, one of the 7 lawyers defending Diddy, the female attorney, is going to cross-examine her today.
And that's a real strategic issue here. We also saw that during opening statements, right? Of all the extraordinarily qualified and more experienced defense attorneys, they selected a female defense attorney who didn't have as many years of experience. She may be incredible, but not as experienced as the others. The tone of the defense is, we are on your side, women. We believe that you may have not been as powerful, as influential, but we're on your side, and we're trying to get the truth out here so you, ladies and gentlemen, can get the truth out and understand that this is really an overblown set of allegations. It's a double-edged sword. Jurors are not dumb. People used to say if you weren't intelligent enough to get out of jury duty, then of course you would be one of those unlucky saps on juries. That's not the way it is. I've interviewed hundreds of jurors in my career now, and they are smart people. We are smart people, and you can't pull the wool over their eyes as though it was a trial, let's say, in the 1980s.
Yeah, I mean, this is a situation where the defense is saying, hey, look, he's a swinger. Yes, there's evidence that he was abusive to her. They had this really twisted relationship, but it was consensual, and there's no evidence of sex trafficking. What burden does the prosecution have at this point to prove the charges that they're saying that there was in fact sex trafficking, which is different from some of the other charges?
If there's a weakness in the prosecution's case and presentation here, Lauren, it's the gravity of the charges. Sometimes prosecutors overreach. As we know, he's charged with a RICO, racketeering, serious felony federal, which carries up to life in federal penitentiary. This was initiated in the 1970s under President Nixon to combat organized crime, mafia cases, not really to attack political cases as we've seen charged against now President Trump in different arenas, not really to address domestic violence or sex abuse cases, but what they have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt is very simple. An organization, an enterprise, an agreement, and single acts that served a greater purpose to traffic young women such as Cassie Ventura. The problem with the defense theory in this case, and this is not a knock on the defense team, this is what any defense team would have to do in this case, is when you isolate specific instances of alleged consent or argue to the court that, hey, you know what, this was just domestic violence, the prosecution, you will see in this case, would be well served to draw a simple chronology, a timeline. At 19, at 20, at 21, at 22, when she became involved in these freak-offs, how did this relationship change? I love you, P. Diddy. Let's be something more than just sexual objects to each other. All the way to 2016, where she clearly was a punching bag, both physically and emotionally, for Sean Diddy Combs in this case. So that development shows grooming, shows the bringing in an attraction, the beat of honey on what could be, honey, this is what we could have, and then slowly taking advantage because of the real imbalance of power and influence and turning it into a trafficking case. So the chronology is going to be the linchpin of this case.
Yeah, and you know, there has been overwhelming evidence of some really disturbing behavior here. If he's not found guilty on all of the charges, the jury could find him guilty on lesser charges. Do you see in this case him spending time behind bars?
Well, he's already spent time behind bars, so the answer is
Additional
yes.
time.
To make me look really intelligent, yes, he will. Now, there's also a chance that the prosecution presents their case and it is weak, and the defense starts presenting their case and it's strong, and there is a chance that both parties get together and say, look, the juice is not worth the squeeze, let's reach a resolution. Now, if he's not convicted of the RICO charges, but he's convicted of the Mann Act charges, which is transporting along state lines for sexual acts and sexual activities, he's not looking at life. He's looking at a maximum of 10. There are a lot of mitigating circumstances regarding him over and above these instances of domestic violence. Now, what's the difference? If the jury finds not guilty on RICO, that means as a logical conclusion, they found that this is not an organization. It's not an enterprise. It's not a long-standing conspiracy. So instead, it's isolated acts of sex trafficking, prostitution along state lines, and things of that nature. So yes, to answer your question, if they have a compromised verdict, and that's what we call it, and the greater charges not found to be true, the lesser charges could essentially find him in for credit for time served.
All right, well, we'll continue to watch. We're on day 5. Boy, eye-opening, disturbing case. So a lot of people are interested in it, though.
Yes.
We'll see what happens. Vic, thank you so much. Always appreciate your expertise in this area.
My pleasure. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you.